When you're releasing new hardware in the video game industry, new consoles, the most important thing for you to do is to have software lined up at release that shows off what the system does best. If you're just making a console with better graphics and an improved controller, that's pretty easy to do. You just need a developer to create something that pushes the console's graphical abilities to the limit, or at least whatever they understand those limits to be. But developers tasked with making launch games for Nintendo platforms these days are often faced with a bit more of a challenge. How can they best take advantage of whatever new gimmick Nintendo has in store? For the developers of the game I'm looking at this week, Kirby Canvas Curse, the answer was to take an older, often underutilized Nintendo character and completely rework its mechanics from the ground up for the company's latest console, the DS. What that ended up meaning was that everything that Kirby does in the game is influenced by scribbles the player makes on the touchscreen. Whether it's by tapping Kirby, his enemies, or drawing a road that he can stick to, you indirectly guide him through each level. And that's not to say Kirby has lost his trademark ability to acquire enemy powers though. He just runs into them now instead of consuming them. And the acquisition of these different abilities helps to inject some variety into the game that otherwise would have been sorely lacking. The boss fights are also quite unique, even though there are usually only 3 of them to choose from. At the end of a set of stages, you get to choose one of those 3 boss fights, and as you choose a specific one more and more, you level it up and it becomes more difficult. So if you really like to play one specific boss fight, you could probably just keep playing that one boss fight for the entire game, but it's going to get really hard. It's a neat idea, but the concepts they had for these boss fights were so cool that I kind of wish there was a unique boss for each and every stage with a different concept. What still makes Canvas Curse interesting now is that these developers understood something about the DS so few developers grasped over its lifespan, even those under the Nintendo umbrella. Using the touchscreen to great effect doesn't always need to mean the player has to have direct control over the things they're tapping. The clumsiness of shooters on the platform shows trying to use the touchscreen in lieu of a missing traditional input device isn't the way to go. Instead, often the best way to use it is for the player to have some sort of an effect on the world, to allow them to directly influence more than a single character. With the stylus controlling Canvas Curse, the player is given the ability to more or less bend the game world to their will, causing Kirby to go wherever they want him to go, still maintaining that control over the character without having to resort to old standbys, old ways of understanding how we have to control characters. It's a fantastic way to show off what the DS could do, and since we never really did get to see a ton of super unique ways to use the touchscreen, it still very much stands out as not only a great launch title, but also as one of the all-time greats on the system. A game that still feels unique and special even today. Every Monday, I look at a game that's at least 10 years old, and I see if it's still worth playing now. If you can go out, buy the game, and still enjoy it today. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and thanks for watching.